a little bit of research, digging into my contacts, and asking questions about what makes a good football team. As college football teams are headed to spring camp and different things are happening, and we're starting to see like different things move and shake, whether you're a Colorado fan or another school's fan, I think it's important to remember that every single player on the team is not going to be a star player. I think we know that in our minds, but sometimes we forget that. And so we hold these really, really, really high standards for every single athlete, even though every single athlete isn't going to be a star, and that's okay. So what I have here, my fancy little paper, are 7 things that I have heard about and talked about to college coaches that are coaching football that I feel like are really important, and I wanted to share them out. And so one of the reasons I wanted to share this out is because, like I said, I think sometimes we get confused and bogged down and we think that every single player on the team has to be amazing, but that is not what makes a great football team. And so I just wanted to make this video and come on and talk a little bit about different elements that we all should be looking for within players to figure out if they would be a good fit for the team that we like. So I'm just gonna go down this list and then give my own thoughts about it. I might put each of these points in the comments just so it's easier to kind of go back and forth to see what I was talking about. But I'm just gonna start with good players. Every team needs a good player. Every team needs good players. You want as many good players as you can have because they will be able to win in their position by dominating. So that's where your stars come from. So your 5 stars, you want them to actually get on college campus and you want them to remain that 5-star and to remain that competitive. Obviously, we all know that 5 stars are not the only people that are amazing, but I'm just giving an example of what you mean. Obviously, a Travis Hunter, somebody that dominates, that's what you want because that equals domination, and every team needs a player or a few players that can dominate. The number 2 item is players who can only play certain roles. The reason why this matters is I'm going to use like an NBA analogy. Sometimes when we're watching the NBA, or really when we're watching football, we always hear commentators talk about playing your role, doing your job. Bill Belichick made it famous. If you do your job, everything else will be okay. You need people that can do their job. They're not going to dominate. They might not go out there and win the game for you per se, but they are going to do the little things that allow you to get closer to your goal. And so having somebody that can dominate and partnering them with somebody that can play their role and do their job and help you succeed, that is a good thing. Number 3, people who don't ask questions, the people who just get to work. I don't know about you, but I have friends that are like that. I have friends that are like, okay, when, where, let's go, let's do it. They don't need the details. They just want to know what they can do to make the thing go or to make it make sense or to be there for me. You also need those players on teams. Number 4 is people who follow the rules. And this on my paper, it says program guys. I also just want to say I'm not listing these in any certain order. I'm not saying this isn't a pie. I'm not saying like you have to have 20% of this, 10% of this, 40% of this. I'm just merely giving out other factors of how we monitor players and how we look at them, because I think so many times we get so bogged down with watching the film and figuring out what they can do on film that we forget that there's other things about a team that makes up a great team. And so I'm just trying to give other things to think about when you're looking at players before you say they should enter the transfer portal or they're not good enough or they're not this, they're not that. All we're seeing is them on the field, but there's more to a football team than just what we see on the field based off what coaches have told me. And I think this is true for any sport, but I'm merely talking about football because those are the people that I ask the questions to. Number 5 would be people who are driven to be great. I think it's understood what that means. I also, one of the notes I have here is they don't have to be good athletes, but they do have to continue to work hard and continue to drive hard and continue to be amazing because their drive to be successful impacts all the people around them that makes the other people be successful. It's almost like, I always say, like, yes, you can have athletes that are amazing. And yes, you need those athletes. However, when there's the drop off from somebody who's not amazing to the next person, that drop off needs to be somebody who's going to work hard, who's going to show up, who's going to be committed, who wants to be great, and who's going to continue to go at it day after day after day to see if they can be great and to try to reach that next milestone, to try to be the guy or to try to be the person. But they're just consistently great. They work hard, they do everything they need to do. They're not the guy, but they are an important element to have on the team. The sixth thing I have here is people who have experienced success. I think this is a no-brainer. If you have somebody that knows how to win, it's just a helpful thing to have because they know what it feels like. They know the work that goes into it. They know how hard it is. They know what it means once you achieve that. And so having guys that know that have had success in the past is super important. And then my final sixth thing is having people that are committed to the vision and the values of the team. One of the things that I think this spoke to me, and I wrote this down, is they are team guys. I feel like they're the ultimate guys that are like, the team matters more than anything. I'm going to put the team before anything else because they are what matters first, is team. So you need those team guys, those team building guys. A lot of you don't know a lot about me, but one of the things that I love about having my PhD is actually studying the dynamics of people and studying the dynamics of teams. And each of these things, when I look at people in my life, in a weird way, I can put each of these things, I can assign them to somebody I have in my life, because I think everybody isn't great at the same thing. And so it's nice to have like that diversity of different types of people around you to make you great. Now, I know we all want a guy to be Travis Hunter. We all want a Shedeur. We all want a Jordan Seaton. We all want, right? Like we all want like these great athletes. I got it. We all want LeBron James. We all want Steph Curry's. Like, I got it. However, chances are you're not going to have a team full of those type of guys. So if you're not going to have a team full of guys that are that amazing, what other things or other ingredients can you have within a team that will help you still make a perfect cake? For example, a lot of people will say, if you don't have eggs, you can't make a good cake, or if you don't have the butter or the oil or whatever, right? And so whenever you are making a recipe, if you look at the team and say, okay, how can I put this team together so this team makes sense? You need all of these different factors to make a great team. So as we're watching spring ball and as we start to see different things pop up and different videos and stuff, remember that a good team has a lot of different people and a lot of different people playing a lot of different roles. Everybody is not going to be amazing. Some people are just going to be amazingly consistent, and that is their role, and their consistency is needed. If you've ever played sports before, think about a time where you played with somebody. It doesn't matter what sport you played. I played volleyball and I had this experience where you had the one or two people on the team that were just consistent at everything. They were never the best. They were never going to be, the best player or anything, but they were extremely consistent. You always knew what you were going to get from them. They provided you the same thing, everything they showed up, whatever that thing was. And think about the people that you had that helped you be more of a team, the people that made sure everybody was getting water, the people that made sure people were staying hydrated, the people that made sure that today we're wearing the black shirts and not the gray shirts, like whatever that is, each of those things contributes to making a great team. So as we start to evaluate a lot of our teams that are in spring ball, and quite frankly, even our NFL teams, because I don't think this list changes no matter what sport you're in, let's just think about the different elements it takes to actually make a good team. And let's see where different people fit within the list. Not everybody's going to fit in the list, and that's fine. My whole point in making this video is that we can get away from just because your film doesn't show something or just because you don't pop off the film and just because you're not the best on film doesn't mean you're not a great fit for the team. And I think we need to take some more time to realize that people bring more things than you will ever see on film to a team, and we need to recognize that.